and welcome to Ciao Bella Leadership. Heather here. Today I was struggling for a topic. I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about, and I started shuffling cards just to get my inner voice flowing. And the topic came to me, and it's regarding my rosary. As I've started integrating into society again after my deep inward journey, I have been getting a lot of questions about my rosary, and so I thought I would address it. Yes, I wear a rosary all the time. It has become almost like my security blanket, because it symbolizes God as my partner in life. I was in a place where I felt super desperate for purpose, and my apologies, this is not a topic I expected to be discussing. However, because this is so important to me and I choose to wear it, I have to be prepared for the questions. So I need to get comfortable answering this. And if I've experienced it, millions of others have experienced it too. So I was at a point in my life where I was begging God to die, and I do God like this because at that time I didn't know that I believed. In fact, I didn't think I did believe. I thought more of science and back to dinosaurs and all this sort of stuff, and I hadn't pardon, I hadn't formed a relationship with God. And I found myself in a really desperate place where I didn't want to live anymore. Shoot. I was begging God to die, and I wasn't strong enough to take care of it because I had children, and they weren't children anymore, they were grown adults. But once you become a mom, things change, and you have them in mind, and would they blame themselves and things like that. So anywho, I say sometimes, I wound up on a journey, a very deep inward journey, to figure out what life was about and who I was, and was there life worth living for me still, or was it time to go? So it took me on a journey that I now call Me Reflective, and I am working to start a podcast to talk about how I did that Me Reflective journey. And I'm so glad that I did, because I came back renewed. I remembered who I was and where I was in my journey, and that I had got a little lost on the ride for a little while, as I was in the transition from one reality to the next. It's when we go through those transitional moments in life that are so rich and defining for us, right? And I I didn't handle that last transition very well. I thought when I got married that second time that it was my forever. I didn't want to mess it up again. I mean, shoot. And there were a lot of people angry at me for making the decision to pivot out of that relationship, and others questioned how I did it, and I questioned how I did it, and it was just such a defining time for me, and oddly, I was influenced by some books that I had read, which intrigued curiosities in me that I wanted to explore. Anyways, I'm rambling. None of that is important. What is important was I was following my soul, and other people may not have understood my soul's journey. That doesn't matter. Eventually they will, or they won't, and they weren't meant to be in my life, right? You know, when you think back, even think of a grandparent of yours or something, and if you think about their life and all the pivots, do you think the friends that they had in their life were their friends always understood their plan at every moment in the process? Probably not. A span of 2 or 3 years, 5 years, even 10 years of being at a different mindset than friends is a blip on their radar when they look back at 80 or 90 and think of their life, right? They think, oh, those people have been my friends forever. They forget about the decade that there was this animosity happening, right? So we have to just remember that although people might have judged our journey, and it caused us to significantly judge our journey, and in some areas of my life completely changed the way I walk forward, or I shouldn't say change, pivoted the way that I walk forward. Oddly, most of my life I've been this rule follower, and a rigid rule follower at times. I can think of certain jobs that I had in my career where I helped make sure the banks were passing audits, and helped illuminate any issues where they could get themselves in trouble if they didn't start doing this dual logging or whatever. I helped to illuminate those things for them for all the branches in the city where I live. And so I did that, and even in my own college and stuff, I'm a perfectionist. I always had to have a 4.0. And I look back on it and I think, oh my gosh, you caused yourself so much extra work and extra studying, because nobody cares if you had an A in class or if you had a C in class, right? And I was hard on my children too for their grades. I really expected them to do their best in everything. And which brings up another odd and interesting topic about education and the way our schools teach. And my children were different learning styles, and one was a very traditional school learning style, and another was kind of he was more traditional learning style, but could easily swing the other direction as well. And then my youngest was very experiential learning and not our traditional schools in the way that they were. Anyways, I digress. Where did I get started on that? I was talking about, the ability to have me being a rule follower, and that I wanted straight A's, right? And I realize in the work world and out there in corporate America for jobs, they don't care if you had a straight A's or if you barely passed your college, right? It's about your ability to do your job and how you show up, and how polished you are in your presence. I mean, I know some of my favorite jobs I got before I had the degree that I was meant to have for that job, because I was already exhibiting the behaviors that I needed in order to achieve that, dress the part, if you will. It's like, dress for the role that you want, I guess, right? And so I did that for a lot of my career. And now since COVID, I had a personal hiccup in my life, and it caused me to need to do some reorganization, restructuring with the people in my personal empire, not my business empire, but my home, right? And that took me down for a little while. It impacted me, and I was still finding my niche in the corporate world under other company umbrellas that sometimes their school of thought was slightly different than mine, or I hadn't yet had the opportunity to collaborate with those teams enough for them to truly get to know me. It was like life was just up on its head for a little while around COVID, right? And it just was. So, from all of that emerged this new Heather, if you will. And I'm the same Heather. And I'm the Heather that embraces all facets of my personality, all sides of me. I own my emotions when I have it. I own the fact that I love a bikini and flip-flops and being out in the sun near the water, because those are parts of me that mold the professional part of me that happens in my business. Those lead my spirit, my spiritualism, and that doesn't have to be religion. For me, it's following the thread of love, finding that joy in your life, your happiness. Your spirit is your energy. So is your energy anxious and frustrated and aggravated all the time? You're not in the right direction. You need to pivot a little bit. Or is your energy upbeat and joyous and happy and thriving? If so, you're heading in the right direction. You're doing those things that you need to be doing, what moves your soul. For me, moving my soul is when I'm out in the sun, when I'm getting exercise, when I'm around other people, talking. I'm a big talker, so I'm used to talking in front of crowds of people for my career, and I love to do that. I love to be in my swimming suit. When I get hot, I can just hop in the water, cool off, and dive right back, right? So through this journey inward of COVID, I was able to almost iron together my personal style and my professional style to be this beautiful blend of authenticity and just, I am that person and I am that person. I'm both of those people. And so now I'm choosing this middle road where I can pull from what I love in my personal life and what I love in my business life, the psychology and sociology of people and the study of engagement and what makes people thrive and flower and perform their best for their employee, for their spouse, for their friends, for their whatever. What is it for that person? And it's usually tied to our heartbreaks and the things that cause us the most stress and anxiety and pain. When we figure out, sorry, I'm noticing my hat's crooked. When we figure out ways to soothe our 10 pain points, and what I mean by 10 pain points is those things that cause us pain on a great scale. So if we had a 1 to 10 scale, 1 meaning, oh, that didn't bother me that much, and 10 meaning, ow, that freaking hurt. What was I doing? Let's not do that again. Let's change our practice and have something in place to protect us from that. That is where those 10 pain point things in your life that just take you to your knees and to your core at times, you find a solution for those. And then you can move forward in this more confident and at ease thread of love path of your life, because you're not always worried about something hopping out and grabbing you and taking you down again, right? That oh my gosh, if this happens to me again, I'm going to be in depression or in this or whatever. So you find those pain points in your life, and they're almost always tied to your purpose, because your purpose is to find ways to alleviate that stressor in your life. And so when I wear the rosary, both sides of my family, my mother's side and father's side, Catholic. And when I was a teenager, I disagreed with some of the rules in the church. I think I've mentioned this in other videos. So I never claimed myself as Catholic and never really got close to God. And I think maybe it was natural for me to go to the Rosary and Jesus is actually who came to me in my visions when I started doing Reiki energy healing. And Jesus is who came to me. So I had been kind of gravitating toward Buddha in the yoga practices, but to be honest, I never could get yoga down. I do my own kind of version of yoga. I like a slower, more methodical yoga, and maybe that's because I'm a newbie, I'm not sure. Anyways, as I was meditating in Reiki energy healing, Jesus is who came to me, not Buddha. So although I have this lovely Buddha statue, it reminds me to go inward and listen to my inner voice. I stand there and pray to God and who I believe God to be now, and the God that I got to know, who helped me understand the science of our bodies and the human race, and helped me tie it to all of the study that I've been doing for decades, just out of my own passion. And for me, God helped me turn the mystery into science and to see how we truly are energetic packets of in this universal grid, that we're all part of the same energetic packet. We're just packaged into unique diamonds. Each unique human has a different mission that they're bound to by on earth, but we're all the same energy, love. We're all that same spirit of God, love. And when we're rooting for each other, we're rooting for ourselves. And when we're rooting against someone else, we're rooting against ourselves. So the sooner we realize that elevating the humans around us actually helps us rather than hurts us. Sometimes we get in this mindset that we have to shield or protect our ideas from other people so that they don't steal them or take them. When in fact we should be illuminating our essence to everyone around us, because by illuminating us, it illuminates them, and that trickle comes back around, right? So it's a surrender and understanding that loving yourself isn't selfish. Loving yourself is loving everyone else. Because once you love yourself and you're confident in who you are and what you deserve, it's super easy to recognize the beauty and the talent in other humans. I love to imagine, not everyone believes that they would want to do what I think they would be amazing at from my viewpoint. And that's because I only see, this many of their pictures. I don't see, it's only what's put in front of me that I can judge, right? And so that's why we cannot move forward in our life based on the judgments of others, because they can only see this many pictures, the pictures that they've put out on social media, or the pictures that they've showed you directly, or maybe some pictures that have gotten back to you through other people. But and how many of you have ever played the telephone game in elementary school where someone tells a secret and you try to tell it around and you hear what it is at the end? It is never the same. We should all know better than to listen to the telephone rumor mill. Come on. That was shown to all of us, I'm sure of it. And if not, we can demonstrate that again on this podcast. I'm certain of it. So let me circle back around. God took me back to me and helped me connect what God in spirit is from a science perspective, because I just have that sort of mind where I need to understand things and I like to solve puzzles. So I went all the way back to, okay, if there was Adam and Eve and we had to populate the world, well, then we're all related, and for one, and then we all started off the same color for two, and then there are many little facets that spun off of that as I went on this journey to discovery. And God helped me bring it all back to center, into understanding that this was part of my mission. And although people are freaking out that I'm talking about my personal stuff so publicly, I was always meant to. And I'm finding ways to be more delicate about it for sure, and to do it from a healthy mind and not a toxic mind. Like when I first started recording, my body was full of toxins, medications that I took, foods that I chose to eat, alcohols, even illegal drugs. You know, I explored and I was getting rich in the texture of life, and you know, I was in a place where I didn't know which way was up and which way was down for a little while. I was lost on this ride, and I didn't see value in it anymore. And after going on the journey, I see value. And even though all of those videos hurt my family and my friends and my loved ones, and people that would think they're my enemy, but I don't have enemies, or I don't want to have enemies. So if there are haters out there, well, it's on your side, not mine. So anyways, I digress again. Let's see, what was I saying? Let me circle back around. I go down little rabbit holes sometimes. That's why I need an outline before I start talking. Even though some of those videos were really painful for people, and I wished I had the ability to do it in a more graceful way back then. I also have come to realize and come to understand that the universe needs us to accomplish things in certain ways for certain reasons. And maybe the ripple that happened because of my videos was needed for healing. And perhaps God knew it was my voice that was going to have to trigger that. I don't really pretend to understand the reasonings for how dominoes fall the way they fall. I just believe in the divine matrix and how we need all of these little players to do certain things or have certain moments to trigger certain things to impact change. And I needed it to impact change in the way that I was treating my body. Wow, I mean, I'm all about splurging and having some ice cream here and there, or having a night out and drinking to our heart's content one evening, and dancing the night away. I'm all for things like that every now and again. And it was just a little much. I think the stressors in my life. Anyways, it was meant to happen. I'm thankful for it. I'm still trying to recover from the hurt that I rippled out. Let's try not to get emotional here. 'Cause, 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 It's humbling, it's empowering, it's enlightening, it's elevating. I have a new saying that I say all the time now: may our shatter become our ladder, or let your shatter become your ladder. So if you imagine your energetic spirit around you, like this glass diamond that I have right here, imagine we go through moments in life where we transition, and imagine this just kind of like shattering and becoming one of these inclusions in your diamond, which is your next step for your life while you're breathing air on this beautiful planet. So may your shatter become your ladder, and you find your gift hidden within that pain, and you're able to transmute it by finding something to help alleviate that pain, that 10 pain point. That's your shatter. So you find something to elevate above that shatter, and that's your ladder to elevate to your purpose, your next intention, your next journey of beautiful delight. And just keep remembering that throughout life we have lots of shatter moments. I've had a couple layoffs in my life, I've had a couple of divorces in my life. We go through shatter moments, and they define us. Each one defines us a little bit more. It's like turning the dial on a screw. You're just turning that dial and dialing yourself in to run as efficiently and as euphorically as possible. I don't know, those are just some words coming to my mind right now. So I think that's all I have for you. I hope I wasn't too all over the place. 32 minutes is longer than I wanted to be, but let's see if Spirit has a mess. Oh my goodness, there it is again, the 10. This is the 10 of Swords, and there is a snake at the top. So it's about transmuting pain to power, using it for your power and light. You've illuminated your pain points, and it becomes your power and your light. All right. Thank you. Peace, love, and happiness always. Heather here. Take care of yourself. And the button. I'm the button girl.